The faith actually stays the same. All these years, which some may have more or less years, but all these years that we put into trying to keep our faith and all those doubts and still trying to rise above the doubt that we feel and the fears that we feel and just to keep that faith, all those years of it through all the different kinds of amounts of different types of pressures, your faith actually stays the same. The only thing that changes with the intensity of those challenges and pressures is the strength, and it becomes more durable. The years and years after you're like, this is so hard, and then you get to a point where you feel like you want to give up, and then you reach back for your faith, all those years of doing that eventually get you into a pattern of understanding when it's time to reach for that faith. So you really do. Maybe you go back and forth. Maybe some people are good enough to just stay in faith every day, no matter what the world around them looks like, which is incredible and great. But some people, with the circumstances that they're in, their faith may be put on the back burner, maybe put in the back of their mind, and maybe shadowed by something or whatever. And so they're not necessarily giving their faith full attention, but they do remember when to reach back for it when it's necessary, when it's time to. So not only are you strengthening your faith with all those years of going back and forth, like reaching back for your faith every time you have doubt, every time you have fears, every time you have your anxieties or whatever, one thing that does come from that is the pattern that you remember, like, oh yeah, this is time to reach in for my faith now. And then once you do reach in for that faith, it strengthens it more and more. As the years go on, when you're under that much pressure, like more and more and more stronger pressure, tighter pressure, more suffocating pressure, after it gets to a certain amount of just pressure and you feel like, dang, I just can't take any more, that is when you remember to reach back for your faith, because that's at the point of the end. You're at the end of the rope. If you're like, I can't take any more pressure, you're at the end of your rope. So when you reach back in those moments for your faith, not only does it strengthen it, it makes it more durable, but also you're creating a pattern for yourself, which is creating wisdom. So if you are wise enough to remember when and what time and why to reach for that faith, your faith is not only strengthening, but it's becoming wiser and more durable and more trustworthy. And that your faith becoming more wise and more trustworthy and more durable, more strong, that is the reason right there why for all of this, because it becomes so strong to the point of other people being able to look at your faith, just pay attention to it and look at it, and it grows theirs. That's how strong yours will become after pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure, and like too much to where your lid's about to pop off, right? After like all those years and years and years of strengthening your faith, other people are going to be able to pay attention and look at it, and actually you'll help theirs grow too. So that's the point of it, of all this pressure, right? This pressure is not meant to destroy you. It's actually supposed to make your faith so polished that other people can just look at it and rely on it too. And lean on your faith too. And that's okay to be for somebody. And sometimes people need that. And we've needed that. We've got to look back at our history and all those times we've been scared and people have lifted us up with their faith, just seeing the joys that they're living through. That is helping. That helps one another. And the faith that I'm referring to is actually when you tell yourself, this is going to be okay, and everything is going to be okay. And what brings your heart peace in those moments of true fear and true pressure, you remind yourself, actually, I am favored by God, so this will be okay. That's the faith that I'm referring to in this, like remembering that every time you are okay and you always will be okay. That's the faith that strengthens every time you lean back on that and you rely on that and you remember that and you remind yourself and others of that. And you also are in prayer talking to God about that and giving him his praise of, yes, God, you've done this every single time and I'm going to continue to trust you.
How do you keep your faith when you feel like you're not in God's favor? Go your way.
I was told one time that was actually very helpful to question the fear, question the lie. The lie is the thing that you question. You don't question the love. You don't question the truth. Like when I have it written up there, but when the love is under attack is when you start to actually fear and doubt. So you question the doubt, you don't question the love.
Can you give me an example?
So just like what you just said, like, how do I remember that I am favored? You know? Well, how do you figure that you're not? How do you figure that you're not? With God coming through for you all this time, how do you figure that you're not?
Even in a moment where, like, it doesn't, like, feel that way?
When you feel that it doesn't, you have to ask yourself, are you even being appreciative enough of what you do have? Because recognizing what you do have and appreciating it only appreciates it. It makes it more. So when you're looking at it as like, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm not favored, I'm not this, you're completely questioning the wrong thing. Like, you actually do need to look at everything that has been done and is continuously being done every day and say, actually, there is no way that I'm not favored. The faith stays the same, because it's like, sometimes you do go through those times where you feel like, dang, I'm falling short, I'm falling backwards, I'm not moving forward, so that must mean I'm moving backwards. But actually, your faith is right at the level that it's been at until you reactivate it and put it into practice again, and it strengthens and becomes more durable and more reliable for you and for others. Like, you may get rocked here and there. Some things might scare you a little bit around with your five senses, which was something we know not to always trust in, our five senses. If something is just scary in the eyes, does that always mean that that should be scary? No. If something just sounds scary, does that always mean that that should be scary? No. The faith, that's what I was saying with the faith, actually stays the same, because the challenges in life and the lessons we learn in this life is not necessarily what it may seem for the earthly perspective. It actually is to strengthen our faith as high as it could possibly go. So if you're under a lot of pressure, consider yourself blessed that you even have the opportunity to strengthen your faith this much. Like, if you're under that kind of pressure where you feel like, actually, this feels like the end, and you could still keep going, and you still keep finding a way, you still keep pushing forward, that gives you the kind of faith that exceeds this lifetime. You affect other people with that kind of faith, which speaks very highly to you, and it's considered as a way of you are continuing your faith's legacy, your faith's DNA, because you're continuing it through other people, even if they're your children or not, which it would be cool if they are, but you will continue it through even this lifetime. Like, it will be so strong that it has affected generation after generation after generation. So do not question the pressure that you're under in these current circumstances, because this is the type of thing that makes people's love and faith last throughout lifetimes. Eternity.